Hello, I'm Al. Welcome back to Al's Vinyl Collection. It's been a little minute since I've done one of these videos, and I apologise for that. Life's just been very busy right now, so I appreciate your support and you sticking around in this time. I know it's been about a week since I've uploaded a video, and I feel bad for that. Today I'm going to be carrying on with Bright Eyes. This is the last Bright Eyes video I do, where I've got the vinyl. Where I'll be listening to it on Spotify. I said a while back, I enjoyed the first Bright Eyes songs I heard, and when I looked up the Bright Eyes stuff, obviously they are quite niche, I think would be maybe the right word to say. They're vinyl, at least. It seems to be kind of limited runs, and it seemed quite hard to get hold of. You know, I mean, I looked on Discogs, and some of them were selling for decent prices, but the majority were selling for silly marked up prices. And on Amazon, you can't really get the vinyl. So I kind of bulk bought, which is what I do with a lot of artists. If I go record shopping, if I know I like an artist, I'll just try and find lots of their stuff, and buy records that I haven't heard, because it's good. I find that's my favorite way to listen to stuff. You know, I sit down and listen to a record, and I find it much more enjoyable than sitting down and listening to it digitally. You know, it's a whole experience listening to a record. I feel like you can open Spotify and you can play a song, and it's okay, cool. You know, I just listen to Bright Eyes. That's cool. Whereas you sit down and you listen to a record, and it's a whole. You know, you get yourself comfortable. You find your optimal listening position. You know, put a blanket on. Maybe you've got a book as well. That's usually what I do. Usually I'll put throw a blanket on, sit on the sofa we've got in the record room, and I'll read a book and I'll listen to a record, and it's great. Usually, peak record listening is when there's like a rainstorm as well. That's when it's good. You know, that's when it's really good. But yeah. So we've reached the halfway point in the album, or we will have done by the end of this video. So from there, the next video, I'll record the side 2 of the vinyl I've got for this, and we'll listen to it from there. And that'll be a whole thing, and it'll be a really fun video. It'll be relaxed. I'll probably film it one evening. I'll just listen to the whole second side, and I'll probably do that from now on. It'll probably be that I listen to the whole album, sit down, and listen to the whole thing. I think I said before, in the Spin Care review, that I'm planning on doing this. I'm planning on sitting down, listening to all the records I've got, and if someone asks for a reaction of a song and I've got it on vinyl, I'll listen to that to try and keep this idea of vinyl being in the channel. But without further ado, we're carrying on with Letting Off the Happiness. These 2 tracks both have companion versions, so we're going to listen to the original companion. So the first song is called The City Has Sex, which is an interesting name for sure. And I'm excited. I've been enjoying this album. It's kind of been, I'd say it's been like high low, but I've generally been enjoying it, so I'm excited.
The city has sex with itself, I suppose, as the concrete provides. Well, the scenery grows and the lonely ones bandaged, they fully exposed. They undress their wounds for each other. And there's a boy in a basement with a 4-track machine. He's been strumming and screaming all night down there. The tapist will cover the words that he sings. They say it's better to bury your sadness in a graveyard or garden and wait for the spring to wake from its sleep and burst into green. Well, I cried. And I learned, and you think I'll do something more now. Just goes to show it's not what you know, it's what you were thinking at the time.
Alright, very quickly, just as I always do, I always pause it, but very, very quickly. There's so much happening in this song, both kind of lyrically and musically. I feel like it almost reminded me of AC/DC in a way that you kind of had to put one foot before the other dig yourself in and just be hit with a barrage of music. So much just happened in the first minutes. There was, I feel like I wasn't prepared, especially to take in the lyrics. There is definitely still a whine. I was going to say this song feels melodically like it's probably the best track on the album. That there's a lot going on melodically, and Contrast and Compare was a very good song as well. But this feels maybe I don't know the best way to explain it. I'd say more mainstream, but that's not the right term. That's not what I want to say, because it's not. That almost seems like an insult to say something's mainstream, and this isn't like that. Especially, I wouldn't want it to be an insult. But I'll save mentioning the word emo. I saw a comment on this. I need to get around to like hearting comments and stuff. I'm trying to get a moderator on board to help me as well, because there's a lot. But I saw someone mention emo and my use of the word emo, and I just want to touch on that because I did have a few thoughts that I wanted to say in a video about it, because I think that they're very right. But yeah, this has been a very interesting song. A lot going on. But in this chorus, there has been kind of that whiny kind of vocal that reminds me of the album we listened to before this, that I'm not 100% a fan of.
Just goes to show it's not what you know, it's what you were thinking at the time. This feeling's familiar, I've been here before. In our kitchen, this quiet, I've waited for a sign of just something that might reassure me of anything close to meaning, emotion, with a reason to move. I need something I want to be close to, and I scream, but I still don't know why I do it. This house never stays, just swells in the case. So what is the point? Oh, I try to find what is not the photo, but you're flying ahead. So passing of it that will be forgotten.
All right, very quickly before we go on to the companion version, I think I'm just going to just kind of say how I'm feeling instead of trying to sugarcoat things. I think for too long I've tried to not want to say something bad about a song, or over fear of upsetting people who enjoy the music. But I think realistically, you're here to see your thoughts on it. I don't like the ending. Again, the whole kind of like the really screaming is just it's not my thing. I feel a little bit uncomfortable when I hear that kind of hear those kind of vocals. That verse, I've got the lyrics up here in Genius. It says verse 3 was Andy LaMaster, so it sounded very similar vocally. When I was reading the lyrics, I was reading them as the song played, and I thought maybe there was a mistake. I thought this isn't a different vocalist, but then you could tell that it was. I'll listen to the companion version and then kind of give overall thoughts on the song. I did like the song, but this is the companion version.
The city has sex with itself, I suppose, as the concrete collides. The scenery grows, the lonely ones bandaged, lay fully exposed, having undressed their wounds for each other. And there's a boy in the basement with a 4-track machine. He's been strumming and screaming all night down there. The tapist will cover the words that he sings, 'cause they're better to bury your sadness. The graveyard or garden that waits for the spring to wake from its sleep and burst into green. And I just leaves and stays in your spine for the rest of your life. And I learn, and you think I'd be something more now. It just goes to show it's not what you know, it's what you were thinking at the time.
Okay. The companion, interesting. Interesting. I had to Google this. You might have seen me typing. I don't know. I had to Google who the vocalist was. So that was Waxahachie. To be honest with you, I wasn't really a big fan of those vocals in the companion. I don't know what it was. I didn't really. I guess I didn't like the tonality of their voice, which is interesting. It's interesting. I will say, his voice in these companions, I really like. I like because it's older and you can hear the age in a good way, and it felt almost like a welcome, kind of like a warm hug to hear his vocals again. But I don't. Let me just bring it back to the start. I don't know what it was. I just didn't really warm to the vocals.
The city has sex with itself, I suppose, as the concrete collides, the scenery grows.
I mean, it's hard because it's not a voice I don't like. I mean, listening to it again, it's the way they pronounced the collides. I really like. I think I don't know. It caught me off guard, perhaps. I wasn't really a big fan. I think maybe that will grow on me, and maybe those vocals will grow on me. But yeah, I wasn't entirely sure with that what to think. I really liked his verses. I like the ending of this one as well because it wasn't that screaming, and I assume that's age. I assume with age he's kind of, as people do, your voice kind of loses a bit of its range, and I guess he probably has lost the ability to scream like he did when, I'm guessing he was probably about 18 when they recorded this. Even younger, maybe kind of 17, 18. His songwriting for that age is incredible, though. I liked this verse, which is obviously a reference to him. There's a boy in the basement with a 4-track machine strumming and screaming all night down there. The tape hiss will cover the words that he sings because it's best to bury your sadness in a graveyard or garden that waits for the spring to wake from its sleep and burst into the green. That's a really cool verse. I really like that a lot. The City Has Sex is it's definitely an interesting song. I'm just going to keep going here because we've got 2 more songs which are both about 4 minutes each, and I want to get through them here. So this is The Difference in the Shades, and this is the original version now.
Now that it's June, we'll sleep out in the garden. And if it rains, we'll just sink into the mud, where it is quiet and much cooler than the houses, and there's no clocks or phones to wake us up. 'Cause I have learned that nothing is as pressing as the one who's pressing would like you to believe. And I'm content to walk a little slower, because there's nowhere that I really need to be. And I find that life is easier when it's just a blur, with no details to confuse who or what or where I was. So when the ending comes, the photograph will seem obscure. Days we dream it projects your heart on a movie screen. And if you close your eyes, we will always be the way we were that night you crawled inside of me. You slept in my blood the way you sleep now. The quietest hush has consumed this house. And when the doctors have gone and you sweat through the bed with the pictures and pills that piled around your head, we'll just rest now. Moment you'll know everything. Was it all a dream? It's too vague now to recount an outline of the one you loved in a life that was, that no longer will be. Stands above you as you sleep.
So that one felt very raw, both the recording and the lyrics. I really liked that. I think the shouting, the shouting parts, I didn't mind so much because it felt desperate again. Like in other songs on this album, the shouting kind of just felt a little desperate and a little emotional, and I like that because it feels like it has a purpose. It's not just shouting for the sake of it. It felt like it had a purpose. So I enjoyed that. And I really liked, I mean, the first kind of half, before that shouting bit anyway, it just felt really delicate, and I really liked his vocals. I think there is a lot of potential in the vocal. But let's listen to the comparison, the companion even. I'm expecting the companion will be relatively similar. Maybe the shouting will be a little tamer, and obviously his voice will be a bit older, but let's just listen to it.
Now that it's June, we'll sleep out in the garden. If it rains, we'll just sink into the mud, where it is quiet and much cooler than the houses. There's no clocks or phones to wake us up, 'cause I have learned that nothing is as pressing as the one who's pressing would like you to believe. And I'm content to walk a little slower, 'cause there's nowhere that I really need to be. And I find that life is easier when it's just a blur, with no details to confuse who or what or where I was. So when the ending comes, the full regret would seem obscure.
Very quickly pause. I think so far every part of this song that I felt a little bit unsure about in the original recording has been changed to a point where I think I much prefer it. I think I and the whole kind of production of this companion version I much prefer as well. There's some really nice vocal effects going on, which I'm a fan of. We'll see how they handle this next
when the doctors have gone and you sweat through the bed with all the pictures and pills and pillows that pile around your head. Just rest now. And in a moment you'll know everything. Was it just a dream? It's too vague now to recount an outline of the one you loved in a life that was, that no longer can be. Stands above you as you sleep.
I think it probably goes without saying that I really liked the companion version to that song. Probably, I think a lot more. The original I liked. I really liked the first verse of the original, but I think even the shouting section in the companion version, I guess his voice is just obviously aged, but it just felt a little tamer whilst not being tame at the same time. It's hard to describe, and also this final verse. I don't know if you could see. I don't know. I mean, I kind of felt quite moved by it, really. In the companion version, in the original, I didn't pick up on it really at all. But these lines, an outline of the one you loved in a life that was, that no longer can be, stands above you as you sleep. I just felt moved by that, and I don't. It just, I don't know if it's the age in his voice. Maybe it's a life that was, that no longer can be. It's, you know, that lyric kind of conjures up a lot of feelings. Maybe it's the one you loved in a life that wasn't no longer can be. Maybe it's like maybe it's a breakup situation. For me, it reminds me of my friend. And obviously he's not here, and that kind of reminds me of that, you know. But I imagine maybe for that, maybe for him it was like a breakup. Maybe it's that kind of vibe, you know. It's a life that you dreamt of, but then you know, you'll know everything. Was it just a dream? It's too vague to recount. So maybe it was just a dream. I don't know, but I really like that, and I really like that the pedal steel was brought back as well for this one, for this companion version. I loved there being pedal steel in the original as well. Pedal steel is always a very, very welcome instrument, I think. This is nearing on half an hour, so I'm going to wrap this up. I really enjoyed them. I think The City Has Sex, I preferred the original version. I think even with its kind of shouting, I wasn't Waxahachie. Sorry, I don't know why my brain just stopped trying to pronounce that. Waxahachie. I wasn't too keen on the vocals, and the vocals, Waxahachie were lead vocals for the majority of that companion version. I really enjoyed it when Connor came back as the vocalist in the companion version, but I think I would have to say I preferred the original for that, just for that reason. And the difference in the shades, the companion version was for me, it was much better, but I loved how raw the first kind of half of that song felt in the original. So if I just quickly look at the album, the next songs we have, so the next song is called Touch. So I'll do Touch and then June on the West Coast, which is a big song based on the plays. I'm just looking on Spotify. It jumps from 388,000 streams to 1.4 million for that song. And there is June on the West Coast has a companion. And is there a song? Okay. There's a song on the companion called Kathy with a K Song, and that's not on Letting Off for Happiness. And then there's also St. Ide's Heaven, which isn't on there as well, but I feel like I've heard that name somewhere else. Elliott Smith. Okay. Wait. That's an Elliott Smith song? Why is that on there? Sorry, I'm very, very quickly going to look at the this. Okay. There are companion versions, and then in each of these there's one that isn't a companion. So, Fare Thee Well, Miss Carousel. That's not Boris Eyes. That's Is that Townes Van Zandt? I'm pretty sure that's Townes Van Zandt. Yeah. Okay. So there seems to be a cover on these companions as well. Sorry, I was looking at them because I've got everything in a playlist, so I can do these videos a bit faster for myself. And I just noticed that there's one track on each EP that doesn't have companion version at the end of it, and obviously St. Ide's Heaven was one, and so there's November, there's Hypnotist, song for Daniel H, there's Double Joe, Agenda Suicide, and Fare Thee Well, Miss Carousel. And I know that one from the original. So yeah, that's cool. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on. Thank you for checking this out. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think of these songs. Let me know if you've got a favourite song from this album we haven't covered it yet. If you're looking forward to a song that's coming up. If you have a favourite lyric in the songs. I love to hear all this stuff. I read every comment. I need to get around to hearting them again. I just haven't had a lot of time recently. But I will get around to it. So thank you for bearing with me here. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. And just take care of yourselves.